Hello everybody, it's Professor Rich, and today we're going to talk about everybody's favourite: how are British English and American English different? I just recorded this video, but I didn't have my microphone on. So, here we go, take 2. Let's start by talking about the idea of British English and American English. So effectively, these are like stereotypes. These ideals exist only in our heads. They don't actually exist in reality very often. Almost no one speaks to an exact standard, and there's a huge variety of accents and slang terms and different varieties of English in different countries. In England, there's lots. In America, there's some accents that sound more like British English than they do American English, and things like that. So that's the disclaimer. However, talking about standards, many students do like to have a standard, and they like to have a standard to follow. If you enjoy watching this channel, then probably your standard is British English, which is the kind of standard that I teach, right? Some academics argue that we shouldn't have these standards, that language is fluid and da-da-da-da-da. They're right. However, they're right about language being fluid. However, standards are really useful for students. Most students want them. I like using them, so they're useful. Standards can be useful. So let's talk about this then. Let's get into it. I think we should start with pronunciation differences, because personally I think that's the most important part of a standard to follow, is pronunciation differences. And you'll know the big one between American English and British English is the rhotic R. So American, we say that American English is rhotic, which means at the end of syllables with a letter R, they say er. So they have car, computer, market, hard, right? That's your American R, American, right? British, we say British is non-rhotic. So in non-rhotic, at the end, car, computer, market, hard. We do insert the R when we link words in British. So we'll say the teacher in the classroom, the teacher in the classroom, the teacher in the classroom, teacher in the classroom. Get it? So we do insert the R as a linking sound when the following syllable begins with a vowel sound. All right? So one thing to say about this, going back to my comment before about how there's lots of different types, different varieties of English in different countries, there are rhotic accents in England. For example, Somerset. Now, Somerset is about in the middle of the country, right? It's not some weird place off, well, it might be a weird place, but it's not off at some extreme of the country. It's in the middle, and people there speak with a rhotic accent, Somerset. To us, it sounds very countryside, like they're all farmers or something, okay? In America, in some of the southern states, they have a non-rhotic accent. And I can't really do those accents very well, so I'm not going to try. But there are non-rhotic, that is British-sounding accents in the southern states in the United States of America. Something to consider. All right, so let's move on to, well, we could talk a little bit about some word stress differences. There are word stress differences sometimes. There's not really any kind of rule or grouping to know these word stress differences. But in general, it tends to be that the British words are pronounced more with continental European stress, like cigarette, with the French stress on et, cigarette, whereas Americans will say cigarette, cigarette, with the stress on cigarette. We also have aluminium in British English, and in American they say aluminum. So word stress change and the sound at the end of the word also. So there's a few of those, but not that many. So another thing to talk about are the spelling differences. There's a few of these, and we can generalize with some spelling, especially spelling at the end of words. So in British English, we use O-U-R at the end of words like colour and armour. And Americans use O-R. Then we have words like specialise, emphasise. In British, we use I-S-E. And in American English, they use I-Z-E or I-Z-E because the Americans call the letter Z, Z. And then also at the end in British English, we sometimes use R-E for words like centre, but the Americans use ER for those words. Sometimes in British English we use ER for words, well, a lot of the time in British English we use ER for words that end in a schwa as well, like teacher. So you have to look out for that one, okay? There's only a few words where we use RE, in fact. Centre is probably the most common. And then there's a few other differences. We spell grey differently. EY in British and AY in American. And some others. But the main ones are those ones you can generalize. And they are also the ones that people will probably notice if you're mixing them. Also, you'll see in Microsoft Word, it will give you a red underline if you have incorrectly set your language options to US English. All right. Then we've got grammar. So grammar. So we're getting on to the less important ones now. The only time when this sort of difference in standard might be important is if you want to become a professional author and you want to write in, American English or British English, then it might be important for you to know these differences. Excuse me. The big one is the present perfect. In British English, we often use already, yet, and just with the present perfect, talking about homework. Have you done your homework yet? I've already done my homework. I haven't done my homework yet. So in British English, talking about events in the past without a specific time, using already, yet, and just. A misconception is that these are always recent events. That's not true, okay? That's not true. They don't have to be recent events. It's just events with already, yet, and just, right? Except with just has to be a recent event. But already and yet, not necessarily. Now, Americans for this, they use the past simple. Did you do your homework yet? I didn't do it yet. I already did it. Already. My American accent is gone. Okay, and the other one is collective nouns. So in British, British English, we use are for collective nouns usually, and sometimes we use is, like my family are coming to tea, my team are doing well. But Americans always use is for collective nouns, like Manchester United is a good team, Liverpool Football Club is a good team. That's the American version. In British, we'd often say Manchester United are a terrible team. Liverpool Football Club are a great team. Okay. And they're the main grammar differences. Then we get on to words. So there's a lot of words, just different words for the same thing, right? You can find word lists. One thing to know about this is that anyone will understand all these words. This is only a question of which words someone will use, but they will understand any. Okay? And just to name a few, we've got crisps, potato chips, dustbin, garbage can, trash can. In British English, we also say the rubbish. Film, movie, right? So there's loads of those. Well, loads. There's a few hundred of those, and you just need to know the ones in your standard. So if you're learning the British English standard, then just follow the ones that British people use, and Americans will understand you. You know, and if an American says a weird word, then say, "I'm sorry. What do you mean? What do you mean, you American rebel? You should swear your allegiance to the Queen immediately." All right. Okay, we seem to have gone on a tangent. Oh, there's also some phrases. Have and take is a big one. So in British English, we often say we'll have a shower or have a break. And Americans love to say take. Take a shower. Take a break. Should we take a break? You can say take in British as well. So British is more flexible for that one. All right. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. If you made it this far, that's absolutely brilliant. Comment down below, please. Share the video. And, yeah, of course, like and subscribe and all that other good stuff. I will see you at the next live stream, the next class, the next whatever. Okay, guys.